The man who quietly helped build the technological juggernaut that would become Microsoft lost his battle against cancer.
Reaction coming in from all over the Northwest and the world to the death of 65-year-old Paul Allen. He was a sports franchise owner and investor. Monique Menlaven looks back at his life and career.
Paul Allen might not be as renowned as his Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, but his impact on Western Washington is just as profound.
That I am thrilled and honored to be part of maintaining the proud tradition of professional football in Seattle.
When Ken Behring nearly moved the Seahawks to Los Angeles in the mid-90s, Allen invested $200 million of his own money to buy the team and keep it in Seattle. He also paid for a special election so King County voters could approve a new stadium to replace the aging Kingdome. The initiative passed by a razor-thin margin.
I don't know if Marshawn will see it, but there's a sign that says Paul.
An appropriate 12 years after cutting the ribbon on the new facility, Paul Allen and the Seahawks reached the pinnacle of American sports when they brought home Seattle's first ever Super Bowl title.
Bring home the Lombardi, bring home the Lombardi. This city's never seen it before. You're seeing it right now.
In addition to owning the Seahawks and the Portland Trail Blazers, Paul Allen's portfolio is a diverse collection of science, aviation, and entertainment. His vast real estate footprint in South Lake Union includes the Allen Institute that researches the biggest questions in human biology. His Flying Heritage Museum at Payne Field is home to priceless warplanes, many of which are the last of their kind. He also put his stamp on local entertainment with popular venues like the Museum of Pop Culture and the Seattle Cinerama. One of the world's most famous partnerships was often fractured. Allen described Gates as a ruthless taskmaster who would spend hours yelling and screaming at employees. He told 60 Minutes about a conversation he overheard in the early 80s between Gates and Steve Ballmer, whispering about forcing him out of the company.
They were basically talking about how they were planning to dilute my share down to almost nothing. And it was really a shocking and disheartening moment for me.
And you were sick?
Well, I think I was still probably in the middle of radiation therapy.
A man who beat cancer twice, Allen left Microsoft shortly after that encounter with all his stock in hand. He went on to build his own empire that includes Vulcan, the Seattle company that manages his business and charity endeavors. His memoir, Idea Man, was published in 2011, shortly after his second cancer battle.
But the timing was because I wanted to see if I could do it and hopefully be alive to see it published.
One estimate puts Paul Allen's charitable giving at more than $2 billion, and he pledged to give away even more of his fortune after his death. A Puget Sound pioneer in sports and science, technology and philanthropy.
He's also a tremendous supporter of aerospace and had, I'm not sure if he still has all those, one of the greatest airplane collections in the Northwest. It's amazing. The Great Wheel on Seattle's waterfront is blue tonight in honor of Paul Allen.